Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Part 2. The Path to Realization. Yogic action has three components: discipline, accepting pain as help of purification, self-study, particularly of spiritual texts, and orientation towards the ideal of pure awareness, surrendering to Supreme Being. These help to minimize the causes of suffering and attain samadhi. The causes of suffering are ignorance, egoism, attachment, aversion, and clinging to life. Ignorance, or not seeing things as they are, is the field where the other causes of suffering germinate, whether dormant, weakened, intercepted, or activated. Lacking this wisdom, one mistakes the impure as pure, the painful as pleasant, and the non-self as self. Egoism, the sense of I, ascribes selfhood to pure awareness by identifying it with the senses, the instrument of seeing. Attachment is that which follows identification with pleasurable experiences. Aversion is that which follows identification with painful experiences. Clinging to life is instinctive and self-perpetuating, even for the wise. In their subtle form, these causes of suffering are purged by seeing where they come from. In their gross form, they are purged through meditation. The causes of suffering are the root source of actions. Each action deposits latent impressions in the mind to be activated and experienced later in this birth, or lie hidden awaiting a future one. So long as this root source exists, its contents will ripen into a birth, a life, and an experience. This life will be marked by delight or anguish in proportion to those good or bad actions that created its store of latent impressions. The wise see suffering in all experience, whether from the anguish of impermanence, the anxiety and fear of losing what is gained, the resulting impressions left in the mind to create renewed cravings, and the constant conflict between the three gunas which control the mind. But suffering, which has not yet arisen, can be prevented. The cause of this preventable suffering is the apparent union of pure awareness and what it regards. In other words, the identification of the seer with the seen. The seen is the nature of the three gunas: sattva, luminosity; rajas, activity; and tamas, inertia, and consists of the elements and sense organs, whose purpose is to provide both experiences and liberation to that which sees, or pure awareness. The stages of the gunas are specific, non-specific, defined, and undefinable. The seer, pure awareness, is nothing but the power of seeing itself. Although pure, it usually appears to operate through the perceiving mind. In essence, the phenomenal world exists to reveal this truth. Put another way, the seen exists only for the sake of the seer. Although the seen no longer appears as such for one who has attained liberation, it continues to exist as a common reality for others. It is by virtue of the identification of the seer with the seen that the seen seems to possess the seer's powers. Ignorance, or not seeing things as they are, is the cause of this phenomenon. Without this ignorance, there is no such identification, revealing that awareness, the seer, is free and untouched by the seen. The apparent indivisibility of the seer and the seen can be eradicated by cultivating uninterrupted discrimination between awareness and what it regards. One's wisdom in the final stage is sevenfold. One experiences the end of 1. The desire to know anything more. 2. The desire to stay away from anything. 3. The desire to gain anything new. 4. The desire to do anything. 5. Sorrow. 6. Fear. And 7. Delusion. When the limbs of yoga are practiced, impurities dwindle. Then the light of understanding shines forth, illuminating the way to discriminative discernment. The 8 limbs of yoga are: 1. Yama, abstinence; 2. Niyama, observance; 3. Asana, posture practice; 4. Pranayama, breath control; 5. Pratyahara, sense withdrawal; 6. Dharana, concentration; 7. Dhyana, meditation; and 8. Samadhi, absorption or superconscious state. Yama consists of non-violence, truthfulness, non-stealing, continence, and non-greed. These great vows are universal, not limited by class, place, time, or circumstance. Niyama consists of purity, contentment, accepting but not causing pain, study of spiritual books, and worship of God, self-surrender. Unwholesome, negative thoughts can be neutralized by cultivating wholesome, positive ones. Unwholesome thoughts may arise from greed, anger, or delusion. They may be mild, moderate, or extreme, but they never cease to ripen into ignorance and suffering. This is why one must cultivate wholesome thoughts. In the presence of one firmly established in nonviolence, all hostilities cease. For one grounded in truthfulness, every action and its consequences are imbued with truth. For one without an inclination to steal, wealth is at hand. For one established in continence, vigor is gained. When non-greed is confirmed, a thorough illumination of the how and why of one's birth comes. With purification, one's body ceases to be compelling. Likewise, contact with other bodies. Moreover, one gains purity of sattva, cheerfulness of mind, one-pointedness, mastery over the senses, and fitness for self-realization. By contentment, supreme joy is gained. By austerity, or intense discipline, impurities of the body and mind are burned away, and the body and its senses become supremely refined. Self-study deepens communion with one's personal deity. By total surrender to God, or pure awareness, samadhi is attained. Asana, or postures of meditation, should embody steadiness and ease. By lessening the natural tendency for restlessness, and by meditating on the infinite, posture is mastered. Thereafter, one is not disturbed by the dualities. With effort relaxing, the flow of inhalation and exhalation can be brought to a standstill. This is called pranayama, breath control. The modifications of the life breath are either external, internal, or stationary. They are to be regulated by space, time, and number, and are either long or short. As realization dawns, the distinction between breathing in and out falls away. As a result, the veil over the inner light is lifted, and the mind becomes fit for concentration. When consciousness internalizes by uncoupling from external objects, the senses do likewise. This is called pratyahara, withdrawal of the senses. Then follows supreme mastery over the senses.